Hi again, welcome to another video, and today we're going to be having a look at this Peugeot Speedfight 2 which I bought a few weeks back. I have established it's got spark. I bought it as a non-runner, but it has got spark when I turn it over, so that's a good sign. So the next step probably will be the fuel system. I am going to just spray a bit of Easy Start in the top there, and I may even do a compression test. Actually, that's what I think I'll do next. I think I'll do the compression test and then spray a bit in there and yeah, see if we can get it just to fire, and then it will mean taking off the carburetor, which is there, and giving that a good clean out, and then hopefully that's all the problem is. I have noticed some other issues with it, and there's some bolts missing around here. He gave me them in a little pot, so he admittedly took it off, but he didn't tell me why it was taken off. I have a feeling it could be because of the kickstart. You can see it's also hanging off, and they're prone to throwing up issues, the kickstarts, and you can buy the parts quite cheap to repair that. I should have actually asked him why he had took the side off. He did mention something about the variator weights, I think, or something, but yeah, I knew I was going to have to do some work on this thing, so yeah, just and he had lots of other people interested, so I just gave him the money and took it away. So I can work through the problems, but firstly, like I said, I'm gonna just put the compression tester on and we'll see what compression we've got. It was supposed to, about 2,000 miles ago, but 10 years ago, I think, something like that, have a new pot and piston on it. Hasn't done many miles since, so if it's had the right fuel mix in, which it does mix automatically on this, there's the oil and there's the petrol, it should be okay still, but we'll see. So now, as you can see, I've got the compression tester on it. This won't tell me if the piston is scored or scratched or damaged in some way, but it will tell me what compression I have, and that will give me a good indication of whether it will start or not. So I'll just turn the ignition on and turn it over, and we'll see what reading we've got. Just over, well, about 130. That is good. That's what I was hoping for, so yeah, I think that will be okay. The cylinder side is okay. Like I said, it could be scored or whatever, but I'm not going to go in there unless I really feel I have to, and I think more than likely it will be okay. So what I'm going to do now is put the spark plug back in, connect the cap, and spray a little bit of Easy Start in, and then just see if it starts, and then it'll be a carb job if it does start, because I'm sure that's where the problem will lay. So now I've got some Easy Start. I'm just going to spray it in the air filter, and then we'll see if we can get it to fire. Should be more than enough. It didn't seem to want to. Fired. That's what I wanted to hear. So my next job is taking the carb off. I'm going to get it in the shed to do that, I think, and then I'll meet you on the bench when I've got it off. You don't really need to see me getting it off, they're pretty easy on these, so I'll see you on the bench next. Now I have the carburetor from the Speedfight there. I have cleaned it outside with some petrol and blew it off. It is a bit corroded on the outside, but I'm not bothered about that. It's the inside that matters. So I'm going to take the float bowl off first. Just two, I think, yeah, two Phillips screws, bolts, one, and there's the other. Does look like this bike's been sitting a good while. Wonder if someone sort of had it as a bit of a project and never really ever got it done. Probably explain why it only did 2,000 miles in sort of 10 years. Probably had the repairs done on the last invoices. Then it probably used for a couple of years or so, a year or whatever, and then just been sitting since. So we'll get that off. Pretty manky in there. Just get a screwdriver and just scrape that before we go the full on clean. Yeah, you can see it there. Petrol doesn't smell too bad, but it might have been left more or less empty and someone's poured some fresh in. The person I bought it off hadn't had it too long. So anyway, you can see it all come off. So I'll give that a clean. What we got in here, we've got that screw that's got to come out there, and that will release the float. Yep. I'm running very low on supplies in the shed, not much blue roll on the last, well, on dregs of WD-40 and a carb spray, air filters for Honda lawnmowers. I'm short on them as well, so I'm gonna have to get shopping, but we'll take this out. Yep, that comes out okay. And then there's the main one in there. I'll get a different screwdriver for that one. This is the one I usually use for them. Let's see if it works on this one. Yep, it's worked perfectly. So, if it'll come out okay. Always worry in case it gets stuck, because getting a bit of a muddle. Then I'll just check through there. Partially blocked. I can just see through that, but it does look a bit blocked, probably with that gunk that was in the bottom. And there's the piece in there I've got to pop out, so just see if that levers out, which it does. So give it a little tap. Might just have to get the pick in there just to sort of nudge it down. Sometimes they go over the tap, sometimes they don't. There we go. I don't know whether you caught that, but it just flew out in the end. So what I'm going to do off camera is give the carb a good clean. There is a fuel adjustment screw there. Actually, before I carry on, I will just screw that in fully, then take that out. So that's half. One. About 1 1/4. So I'll get that out. Actually, the other screwdriver would have been better, but this will do it. I will just check before I take it away and clean it, just that I haven't missed anything out. I'm only going to give it a manual clean. I'm not putting it through the ultrasonic cleaner. Oh, there's another one there. So we'll screw that in and then count that out. I need a different screwdriver than that. Oh, that was nearly tight anyway. That was. I think someone had been messing with these adjuster screws. That looks a bit chewed up, that one. But we've got that out now. So that'll allow us to blow through the whole lot of the carb now. Make sure everything is clear. I'll just go for all of them. Just through there, there, there. Then I'll clean all these little bits up. And the bowl. I just do it with carb spray. And yeah, it's straightforward. I don't need to show you that. So I'll get that done. So now it's all clean. I'm going to get it back together. So I dropped that piece in first and then put the main jet in. I couldn't actually see any holes on it that were blocked, but doesn't mean there wasn't something blocked on the carb. But at least I know it's clean. In an ideal world, I would have put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, but that takes time to set up and I just wanted to get on with it. So this will be good enough. So that one goes in there like so. So get that one screwed back in. Yep, that's all right. So now we're going to get the needle valve back in. There it is. And I'm just going to hang that in there. Try and lift the carb up to it. Nearly there. I think we are in. I've just got to position the pin in place. So that pin is in place. So now that's in place, we have this little bolt to go in. So I'll get that screwed in. We'll just check it's all moving okay. You can see they're going up and down. So now, is that everything inside the carb? I believe it is. So we can get the bottom back on now. Everything looks good in there. Get that back on. And there's two little bolts to go in. That one's done up. Do the same with that one. So that's the carb all back together, apart from the fuel adjusting screws. Can't remember which one goes in where now. I think that one goes in there. And that was 1 1/4 out. And this one was actually all the way in. So that's what I'm going to do at the moment. And then go from there. Yeah, I think that one will be the fuel adjusting screw. That one is the tick over, because that's in line with the throttle barrel bit that goes in there. So that's the tick over one, and that will be the fuel mixture one. So that actually probably should come out a little bit, so I'll screw that all the way in. I've got a feeling there might be a spring missing off that one, but we'll look at it when it's back on the bike. And this was just out 1 1/4. Always be adjusted when they're on. 1/2, 1 1/4. They are a little bit chewed up, so people have been messing around. Well, someone's been messing around with them at some point. So that is back together. I will give it a shake so I can hear the float going up and down. So that should be all good. There was one other one there. I will just take that out now and just check what's under there. See if there's any holes in it. No, there wasn't. It's just like that. So I'll put that back in. That's all good. And it can go back on the scooter now, and then we can see if it will start. It has got, I believe, a fuel pump on it, so that could even be playing up. I don't know. I haven't looked at that yet, but I'll try that and see if it pumps fuel out. And if it does pump fuel out from the pipe that goes into the carb there, I know the carb's getting fuel. So hopefully what I've done just now, cleaning it all out, will be good. But we'll see when it's back on the scooter. So it's the next day now. I'm just about to get the carburetor back on. I have had a few little issues. I'll go over them in a minute. And if you can see in there, you can see I've got a new oil line there. And I'm a little concerned. Even though it had a good compression, a really good compression, I thought, 125, was not bad at all. The oil line, when I turned it over to check the fuel was coming out, where are we there? The oil line was in the same place as that one is there, but if I show you it here, someone had bolted something and crushed it. and you can see the oil was only going up to that point. Dropped back a bit now I've took it off, but it was getting to there and wasn't getting past. So I'm a bit concerned whether the engine's been starved of two-stroke oil. So what I'm going to be doing going forward, it won't be in this video, but I will take the pot and piston off just to check. For peace of mind, I want to check, but I've got to order a head gasket for that. So I'll get a gasket kit ordered. They're only about £8-9, I think. So I'll get that ordered, and then hopefully the piston and everything is okay. If it isn't, you can get budget one for, I think, £35 delivered, and you can get a better quality one for £55 delivered. I'd probably go for the better one, but at the moment this one may be okay. But if it was run for very long with that pipe crushed, it will have caused some damage in there, but we don't know till we look. But what I'm going to do now is get the carburetor back on. I've got it here. I have had to file it a little bit there because it was warped. It is still a little bit now. I wonder why there was a gasket in there, because it shouldn't really need one because of the O-ring there, but that's why, I think. So we'll have to see if it leaks from around the edge afterwards. I suppose I could work on that a little bit longer to get it flatter, but we'll just see how it goes. But we'll go with that at the moment. Also, one of the threads stripped, it was that one, so I've got to put a nut in behind. So I'll put you on the tripod and you can watch me do that, then we can plug in that oil line, the fuel line, and then I think we'll be ready to give it a, or try to give it a start up. So the bolts are already through, as you can see, so I'll just put that gasket on. Then I've got to try and get a nut behind, and that will be a bit tricky, but I think I'll probably go for this one first, get that one in, and then try, my hand might be in the way there a bit, but it might be better from behind anyway. And actually that's going to screw right the way through anyway. It is stripped, the thread, but it's still going through. The thread's a bit, it just doesn't go tight. So as soon as it's through enough, I can get the nut on it. We've actually gone through a little bit too far. Hoping that's going to have done it. So the two carb bolts are tightened now. I'm gonna just slip that in. That's a choke. It's one of them horrible auto chokes that I am not keen on at all. I'll get the little bracket and put that in behind. I've just got to put the two little bolts in. You haven't got to see me do that, but that's in place. And then I've just got to drop the throttle piece back in. So I'll get them two tightened up and then we'll finish it off. So now the choke is all tight. I'll just drop that in. That does locate into a little piece in there. So I'll just have to turn that around and see where that is. Might have to look in there, but let's try and just look. I'm gonna have to look actually, so let me just get a torch. Hard to look in there actually. I think it's either on the back or on this side. It's on the back. Sorry, my hands are in the way then. Just screwing that top on. Fuel line on. Then I have this piece here. I've got to put this oil line in. So I just got to cut that to length. Be about there. And then that pushes in there like so. That's about the best it does. Just how it comes out. Just tap a bit, but it should be okay. I will be able to see it coming through there as well because it's clearer pipe. And that's about it. So I'm going to be able to take it outside and give this a start up. So I have actually tried it and turned it over, and I have had a slight firing, but nothing more than that. So I'll just show you what it's doing. It's trying to fire a little bit, but it's on. There's absolutely nothing now. I have a feeling it's fuel supply. So I'm going to have a look into that and see what the problem might be. And then I'll be back with you. So I think I've sorted it now. I think what it was I wasn't getting enough vacuum to pull the fuel through. So what I did, just come down here. I just held my hand with a bit of rag over the end there, and then it seemed to draw the fuel down, and yeah, it started to get fuel then. So we'll try it now and see if it starts. One other thing I am a little bit concerned about, and I have added some 2-stroke oil mixed with the fuel now, because that new pipe I fitted, as I've been turning it over, it is getting there, but it hasn't got to the carb yet. So I just want to make sure it had oil lubricating the piston. So mixing it with the petrol, I know that, and I'll just monitor that and see how that goes. And since I've sorted that fuel and managed to get the fuel flowing okay, I have actually started it and it seems to start okay. So I'll just start it for you now and you can see it running. So it runs okay. I obviously haven't put the air filter and that back on yet. The air filter is broken up a bit, so I'll order one of them. And there's something rattling in there as well. Could be to do with that kickstart. So I'm gonna have to have a look in there as well. And I don't know whether it drives or not, but the wheel does spin when I rev it. So what I'm gonna do is just put the seat back on and see if it drives. And then, yeah, I'll go from there. But I won't show you that. I'm gonna leave the video here. The purpose of this video is to get this up and running, and yeah, it was basically just the carburetor that was dirty. And yeah, I just had that issue with the it must have been an airlock. All I did, just go over it again as I was turning it over, which is quite hard in this because you have to hold the brake in, press the electric start button and hold your hand over there at the same time. If you're on your own, that's quite difficult, but I used my chin on the electric start as I was holding it over, and that's how I did it. Yeah, and that drew the fuel up. I'm still not happy about that oil one, but it is getting there. I think if I rode it, it'd pull it up. It's going further and further. It's just a bit slow, and I think my pipe's a bit long as well, so I can take a few inches off of that. But we have a runner and it runs okay. And we'll just see how we go with this one. But like I said, the purpose of this video was to just get it up and running, and it is running now. So I'm gonna leave the video there. So thanks for watching, and I'll be along with another video again soon. So bye for now. cut back in here. The oil has worked its way right up to the carburetor now. So now the auto oiler is working. So it's automatically getting oil into the engine. But like I said earlier, I did mix some two-stroke oil with the petrol. So it will smoke a bit, but that's not going to do no harm. So I'm pleased about that. I know that's working now. That little connection there does tend to try and fall out, so I might have to do something there just to hold that in place a bit better. But at the moment I'm happy with that, and the carb is leaking a little bit. I think I'm gonna have to buy a gasket set for it, a carb kit for it, so I'll look into that. But going forward I'll be sorting this out for its MOT. There's a few little bits to do, and I have to just check it over, like brakes, and I'll get a pair of mirrors for it. The lights seem to work okay. I don't think there's too much wrong with it, but I will just yeah, check it over. And also I want to take that off because I want to fix the kickstart, and I'll probably put some new variator weights in it as well, because it's more than likely they're worn. But when I'm in there to do the kickstart, I can sort all that out at the same time. So yeah, we'll just leave this one here at the moment, and then we'll revisit it at a later date. So for the second time I'll say bye. So I'll catch you again on the next one. Thanks for watching.